Hello, my name is Agnieszka Wojciechowska-Sej. I came from Łódź, from Muzeum Sztuki, and I want to tell you my very short story, but believe me, I would be able to talk about an hours for that project because I like it very much. The first slide is a painting which made in our museum Aldo Giannotti, who was our artist. Aldo Giannotti spent 10 days in our city, in Muzeum Sztuki, and it was the first which he decided to make in our workshop room. He just takes some colors and draw it on our mirror. In fact, we don't have a youth group, as now we have, but we didn't have before, we hadn't have before. So we start in April with collecting some guys, we encourage them, we produce a small leaflet. Also I visited some school and some class. So during April, me and Leszek, my colleague, in the center of the second row is sitting. Yes. We organized 3 workshops for our new group because we wanted to try to make a nice relationship between them, and we also tried to check if they are able to speak English very fluently, and it wasn't very necessary because they liked very much. They create a very nice group, and also English wasn't a problem for them. So that slide shows 2 photographs from our workshops we made before our artist residence. Here we have a documentation of destroying our mirror. So Aldo Giannotti and our group, they decided on the first meeting to do something on the mirror on our space. And Aldo Giannotti is an artist who uses very often words which are put in a very special public space. So for us it was obvious that Aldo wants to work with words and also work with font. And font is also very important for Brita because in Polish font means czcionka. So for foreigners, the word czcionka is kind of a little bit difficult to speak. And Aldo, also Brita, were very thrilled with that word. And also in our museum we have the history of Władysław Strzemiński, who is one of our father of our museum, who in 1931 decided to collect the collection of international modern art and gave to our museum. And Władysław Strzemiński was also a typography. So thinking about words in public space and also font was the very good level to start thinking about our project. Our next few days were dedicated to working on public space. Here we have some project that our youth club and Aldo decided to create. Aldo made some photographs from our city. Our city is in fact, as Catherine said at the beginning, we are not a capital city, we are rather periphery city in our country, but in fact Łódź is the 3rd, according to the largest city in Poland. But we have a lot of empty walls. The picture with FC Barcelona and Bayern Monachium shows also that football club fans very often occupy that. So we can see ŁKS, which is our Łódź Sport Football Club. Then we have Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Monachium, FC Barcelona, and Piast Gliwice is the best. Piast Gliwice is one of the smallest football club in Poland, but that's the project of our participants. And the red brick building on the upper, the photography on the down, It is our museum. It is a building, our situation in Łódź. So art is here was also the idea for create our project. Then we had to think about the czcionka, about the font, because Aldo was focused on not writing or spraying the words on buildings, but he wants very much to have posters, very big posters, and each poster should be occupied only by one letter, something like Scrabble game. Do you know the board game Scrabble? And Aldo Giannotti wants very much to work like Scrabble game. So next few days we thought about putting together some fonts, putting together some letters, and think about the message we want to put into the public space. Here we have the photograph with what do you think about the Museum of the Future? And our youth club answer was touch everything. Because very often in our museum we have to talk, please be so kind and keep the distance, please don't touch it, it's an art piece. So for our group it was obvious that in the future we would be able to touch everything in the museum. Then we decided to go for a very special chosen public space. This is in the center of our city. This is a municipal center of culture. It's called Prexer. And Prexer was so kind that they allowed us to put our posters on the wall, on the facade. So we went with our youth group and with Aldo Giannotti, and on a transparent folia we wrote with markers some sentences. We were thinking about them. And here we have the result. So touch everything in the museum is still come back. It was very popular. Mona Lisa would love this city. Believe me, she would not. Today this wall, tomorrow the whole world. So we can admire the very openness of our group. And reuse the letters was one, in fact, we choose at the end, but in a few minutes I will show it. For me that picture was very, very important. It is very important for me because here we have Brita in brown trousers. Here we have also Leszek in dark red t-shirt. Then in nice flower skirt, this is Mary Ann. Yes, and Aldo Giannotti then. So here we have the final point for choosing the sentence. Here we have the final countdown because after choosing the 3 sentences, because we had the 3 locations on Prexer Municipal Culture Center, so we chose 3 sentences, and after that we had to count letters to produce posters. And believe me, it was a very short time because we choose sentences on Friday. Yes, it was on Friday, I think. And a few days after, we had to have posters ready. So that was our very important calculation. And that's the final performance. It occurs, it wasn't only sticking posters into the facade. Here we have a big ladder. Believe me, we had to take the ladder from our museum and we were walking with the very big ladder through the center of the city. Our children, our youngsters decided to take the megaphone, so we were singing. They gave lectures on the street. They were telling a story about triangles and mathematical rules, also about biology, also about chemistry, because they were, as I know that in Kumo, the meetings were in the afternoon. Our meetings were also in the afternoon, but our project, the finalization was during the very hot time in Polish school, because a lot of class tests there were in school. So from the morning up to the 3 o'clock, they were passing exams and teaching and writing tests, and after them they went get completely crazy with us, drinking a lot of tea and had a lot of good fun. So the megaphone was also very necessary in our project. Here you can see also the girl in blue jeans dress with the megaphone, so you can notice it was in the place. Okay. Find art was our first decision, and the letters in something like crossing some. It doesn't make a sense, but in fact, these letters are the beginning letters of our names. So here we have A for Aldo, R for Leszek and Łukasz, A for Agnieszka and D for Dominika, M for Michał. So they decide to complicate it and try to find art. Have you found art in the crossing? Yes, it is. That's great. And during some very small break, we had pizza. We also have fashionable thinking about shoes with sticking some tape on the participants' shoes. The red one is Mary Ann Leck, believe me. And our second sentence, which was sticked into the facade of the Praxair, was where contemporary art becomes ancient. And for us, the answer was in the Museum of Art in the future. Unfortunately, we weren't able to stick our third sentence, but the third sentence was connected with touching everything in our museum, but it occurs that we haven't counted very proper letters and some of them were missing, so we decided not to stick the third sentence. And my last photograph, which shows that our group had a very good fun with Aldo. They love each other, and every day they made a lot of photographs of them. First, the upper one is Power Rangers, so force and power, and the second, for me, it is completely unbelievable, and I don't understand it, but it is called łokieć, which and that picture also shows the final day of our meeting, of our project, that part of the project. Because after our performance at Praxair, we decided to organize a meeting, and we decided to invite also parents of our youth group, and it was a very good decision because Aldo was able to talk to parents. The parents would believe that Aldo Giannotti is a very famous and a very nice artist, and they were able to talk to discuss some problems, and also our youth club was very proud. Some of them invites mother, father, uncles, even 2 grandmothers we had on the auditory. So I think it shows the biggest force of the project. We were able to invite a lot of people to the museum. They worked together and they had a very good fun of it. Thank you very much.